Shank 2 is the embodiment of that game I couldn't beat as a kid, but replace beat with 100% and it's pretty much accurate for me. So when I happened to look it up and found out that it was on Steam, I bought it for about $2 and decided to avenge kid me who could never 100% this game back in the day. And I beat the story mode on normal and hard within 3 hours. What do I do now? Is there any other achievements? I mean, this one you have to grind a lot of counter kills. Oh wait, that was pretty easy. More counter what? More counter kill? How many of these are counter kills? Okay, how about grinding kills with a shovel? Okay, this game really was not that hard. I think I just was not dedicated back then as a kid. I mean, is there anything else? Ooh, survival mode. Alright, let's move on. I don't think I can come back for survival. Wait a second. Complete survival mode. Complete survival mode? How do you complete a survival mode? I mean, like, the game wasn't that challenging for me personally, so how hard can the survival mode be? Ladies and gentlemen, Shank 2's Ultimate Survivalist Achievement. Complete survival mode. Now, I love me a good survival mode, but this is not a survival mode as it is more or less just Gears of War Horde where there's an actual end. It's just borderline impossible to do it by yourself. The way this works is that you have to defend 3 supply stations, and this is automatically no longer a survival mode as it is basically a defend the bomb site mode. Cool. Eventually you'll get enemies called bombers, and if they live long enough, they'll plant bombs on the bomb stations, which you have to defuse, and if you lose all the stations, it's game over. This is in combination to stabby boys, machetes, neutral beat gun, AK-47, big boys, heavy boys, Mr. Beefcake, jungle girls, and zombies, but we'll get to them later. And of course, if you die once, you have to go all the way back to the start, resetting all the progress. I need to stop doing achievements where I can't die. Anyways, let's get started. Step 1. Find a co-op partner to play with. Oh neat, it's optional. Step 2. Map. The only real map I could do is down on the farm because Bomb Church is incredibly tiny and the traps aren't that good, and I'm on a boat, doesn't really have the best traps for a solo player, and in addition to that, if you get thrown off the boat you die instantly, so, you know, that kind of sucks. In addition to that, the farm map also has the best trap, the meat grinder, because this insta-kills all the enemies, with the caveat being that you don't get cash for them, but trust me, cash is not going to be an issue later on in this playthrough. Step 3. Choose your character. Each character has a unique stat spread specific to them, and this can be beneficial or damaging depending on your playstyle. Some skins do more gun damage, more melee damage, more grapple damage, some have less health, some have more expensive shop items. You get the entire deal. Because I'm playing solo, I decided to go with the SWAT dude because he had a 50% increase to disarming bombs, and I don't think I would have ever gotten this achievement if it wasn't for that buff alone. Alright, let's get started, and my recordings don't have my mic. Alright, I'm gonna have to pull a little bit more leg room in the commentary department. Hey there, Max here. Friendly reminder, this achievement took me 12 hours to get because I suck and the game was hard, alright?
Suicide.
What the fuck was that damage, my guy? Oh!
Help! Help!
Hey everyone, just a friendly reminder to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. I'm trying to postpone the inevitable. I don't think it's gonna work. With the amount of rage this challenge was causing me, my neighbors would think I'm turning into Super Saiyan 3 or something. Most of my deaths were from the meat grinder because I cannot platform to save my life for some reason, and I fell in to feel like an idiot, wasting about, anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes. And then other times I just get wombo comboed, wasting anywhere between 40 to 50 minutes, and I just got frustrated. The hardest thing with this achievement is just playing up to the point where you died, and then when you play this enough, you realize the waves are random. And what I mean by that is, like, you can have two completely different survival matches and both have different level 15s. Usually for bosses and specific waves they share the same number, but like after 15 or 16 the waves are just completely random aside from the zombie waves. Oh yeah, the zombies. After a certain point you get to zombie waves, and this is where things get difficult, and I mean like actually difficult. Zombies are basically reskinned versions of normal enemies but are faster, hit harder, and they can basically wombo combo you to death. Now, this isn't a problem until they introduce the zombie bombers, and this is where things suck. Everything sucks because now they get speed planning and they're insanely fast. The best way to deal with the zombies is to use shop weapons, and this is the part where I can talk about the shop and all its flaws. Basically, as you progress through the survival mode, just like Gears of War, you get an increased shop inventory, which leads to bigger and more deadlier weapons you can buy. You get simple things like a tequila bottle, and then eventually be able to call in a missile barrage, which is one of the best items in the game, albeit at a very costly price. Here's the main issue with the shop. Everything has a cooldown, including that tequila. You can take a guess how you heal. Yup, straight up tequila, baby. And this frustrates me because you eventually just get to the point in your matches where you're quite literally just training the enemies around the entire map so you can buy a bottle of tequila just for that health to go bye-bye in 2 seconds because, oh yeah, you're fighting zombies that 3-shot you. My general plan was to just stockpile cash, buy a barrage, and then buy a couple weapons if I ever needed to, but most of the stuff here is pretty useless. Because you're fighting zombies, eventually the boars and decoys don't have enough health to withstand all the damage they can do, so they'll die pretty quickly and just waste your money. The turrets seem good on paper, but they're annoying to set up and they can get swarmed by enemies pretty easily. Combine that with the fact that you yourself can knock them over, and the turrets become more of a hassle to manage than they are helpful. Sometimes you can get cheese kills with the fireball turret, but... So that basically leaves you with the Thumper, which is an amazing grenade launcher that borderline one-shots all the enemies, the minigun, which spews bullets across the map, and the missile barrage. So I don't exactly have a lot of options in the shop. But after suffering defeat after defeat after defeat, after falling in a meat grinder again, after defeat, something needed to change, and then I made a discovery. Usually whenever you do an action, you get a little bit of text and some points popping up on screen. Those points translate into your money, like akin to DMC style meters. And coupling the fact that this counts for juggle throws, I realized I could quite literally toss the enemies back and forth grinding money. And with this new knowledge, it now became less a game of trying to complete the waves in the most efficient way possible, and complete the waves in the most stylish way possible. So I switched to Sledgehammer to do big damage and hit enemies off the ground so I can eliminate threats as soon as I possibly can. The throwing knives, because they had decent range and stun potential, which I needed to do with bombers across the map when I couldn't buy any of the 2 weapons. The throwables didn't matter, I could just use whatever I had to, although I preferred grenades so I could chuck them across the map as well. So, does anyone want a combat montage? In addition to that, in case you thought me running around the entire map for a minute to buy a tequila bottle was silly, how about 3 minutes to buy another missile barrage because I needed to complete this achievement. I wasted a lot of time just running around the map, alright? The new strategy worked for the most part, but there were times where I just died without using a missile barrage because I was being extremely stingy with it, and trust me, With hindsight, I was right to be stingy with these things. I got so desperate at one point, I just started playing with my keyboard and mouse as a second person to deviate attention, and the results were way more surprising than I thought. Extremely goofy, but I eventually dropped this tactic. I mean, hey, it kinda worked for like an hour. And finally, after all of that, I was on the final wave, and there's a zombified beefcake. Alright, calling the missile barrage now. And finally, after a whole 12 hours of grinding this achievement specifically, I finally 100%ed Shank 2. Wait a minute. Okay, now I 100%ed Shank 2. You guys know something? I think I might be on the hack and slash games. Let me go try and 100% one of my other favorite hack and slash games. Man, this game sucks. Absolute bullshit. I hate the Furies. This boss fight is actual cancer. Mission 10 is the worst mission in this game.